Your Honor, so what Mr. King wanted to share with the court was that he's been kind of proactive. So he said that he's completed some defensive driving courses, some anger management courses, and things like that. But we understand that the court's main concern is the alcohol. So if there is perhaps any sort of monitoring that Mr. King can have while he's out of jail, or perhaps testing, he would be agreeable to something like that. But we just don't feel like him being in jail. I I personally I don't believe that he's going to be a danger. He's got the support of his grandmother who's here in court with us today, and like I said, he's gainfully employed and he does have a child and he does have a lot to lose and he understands that, especially having
Well,
been in here
Miss
for.
Hunt, it's not necessarily that I think he's going to be a danger per se. The concern that I have is that he's gotten two subsequent charges, one of which definitely involves alcohol since he got a DUI. And so all of these things coming into play, you can present all of this to me as the reason why I shouldn't put you in the jail, but none of that kept you from getting two subsequent charges after a DUI. I don't understand what's going on. Like now I'm supposed to feel bad. Oh, he's got a 2-year-old. Well, that was your choice. Nobody told you go out there and you got pending charges and your life is probably not stable and you out here having babies. I'm not a proponent of just willy-nilly having children and then using them to try and play on the court's heartstrings, because I feel like children deserve the absolute best that we can give them. And when we just out here having them and then trying to figure it out on the back end, I'm not a proponent of that. Mm-mm. And I see your grandmama sitting back there with her hands over her face, praying for you and everything. And I think that's a good thing. But I think that you need to take some personal responsibility. You're 25, you've chosen to have a child and become a parent. But you also have committed, allegedly, you have three different pending cases, not charges. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pending charges before the court, and over the course of 2 years. And so I don't understand why I should now let you out again and risk you getting another charge. Because if you stay in jail, you'll come up next on the trial calendar. We can go ahead and try these cases and get them done. We can try them back to back to back.
So, well, one second, Your Honor. Your Honor,
Yes, ma'am.
if I could just say one last thing on behalf of Mr. King. Um, Your Honor, obviously, we still would like for him to be released, but I know that Your Honor is concerned about alcohol. Mr. King hasn't had any infractions involving alcohol or any issues with alcohol, at least since April of 2022. So it's going on almost 2 years.
August of 2022.
Well, I think the last case involving alcohol, Your Honor, was the one ending in 0297, is my understanding.
You gonna tell me he was stone cold sober when he went over there to the same person from the April incident? All right, I'm gonna let you have that one.
Thank you, Your Honor. But so, Your Honor, Mr. King and his grandmother was also kind of chiming in as well. Let me know that there aren't any concerns, at least we don't believe that there are any concerns that the court should have about alcohol. He's kind of been on the straight and narrow for over the last year, and so we would like the opportunity for him to get out of jail and kind of fight these charges from the outside, because he does maintain with me that he's not guilty on all of the cases. And that's kind of what I was trying to explain to him as to why we won't go into the details of that here today as to what happened in each of those cases. But without doing that, he does want the court to release him.
All right. If I release him, he's going to test every 2 weeks for substances. If he misses a test, he comes back to jail. If he tests positive, he comes back to jail.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right, draw up the order.
Thank you.
He'll go to he'll make an appointment with the probation office, and he'll test every 2 weeks. He misses like if he misses a test, he's coming back to jail. If he tests positive, he's coming back to jail for any substance, alcohol or anything else.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office, Mr. King. He's not to have any contact, no contact, not social media, not text message, phone, nothing with Frazier, K.N. Frazier. Any contact with her, he comes back to jail.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That's the baby mama, I take it.
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay, no, still, because I'm assuming that he hasn't married this woman or legitimized that child.
Not to my knowledge, Your Honor.
We're going to start doing stuff the right way. Until those things happen, he is not the legal parent of that child. If folk just want to come out here and just be having babies, that's on them. But understand the situation it puts you in when you don't have those things in place. And so, no, he's not to have any contact with the baby, not through the grandmother. The grandmother can't call her. No, y'all can't see the baby unless unless the Superior Court of Clayton County or the court where the baby resides decides that there's a visitation that has been set up due to a legitimation petition that has been filed. So this is the sacrifice you're going to make. When we start doing things the right way, then we don't have these issues. But no contact with K.N. Frazier or the child of K.N. Frazier. No, Grandma, no. Come on up, ma'am. See, your grandson is in this situation because somebody's always taking up for him and he's not getting responsibility for the things he's doing.
I understand that, Your Honor, and thank you for allowing me to speak. But what we did, his mother and I, when they were having their spats, we only go pick up the baby now, or me or his mother.
And you shouldn't have to do that because they should be grown enough. If they're grown enough to have a baby, they should be grown enough to co-parent. But anytime the grandmama and the mama have to get involved in transporting the baby because they can't get along, that tells me that they're immature and shouldn't have had the baby in the first place. So he needs to grow up. And no, I'm not going to facilitate that. No, ma'am.
Well, actually, it was his idea.
I don't care.
Not to have the interaction.
I don't care. He had a baby with that woman. If he can't now co-parent with her, that tells me something about the fact that they shouldn't have even had a baby together. So no, y'all can't have any contact with her until such time as that baby is legitimized through the courts.
And what court do you do that?
Superior Court. And that's not your job, ma'am. That's his job.
I just like to have the information.
I get that, but we are raising trifling men. We're doing so much for them that we're not raising men. We're raising little boys that some other woman is going to be burdened with taking care of. Even when if he gets back with K.N. Frazier, she going to have to do everything for him because you and his mama are coddling him. There was a time in this country where once you left your parents' house, you were responsible and you had to make your way and be responsible. Every successful person I know, including myself, you get from your parents instructions when you finish high school. Hey, I don't know what you're going to do. College, military, work, but you can't live here. And we are so busy coddling. I know he has a place now, but we're so busy coddling, especially young men. We seem to be wanting to raise women to be responsible. You got to go out and get a job. You got to do this. You got to do that. But parents continue to coddle these young men. And so they end up not being responsible for themselves or anybody else. He's a parent now, so he's grown. So anything that happens on his behalf or his child's behalf, he has to handle it. Y'all need to stop stepping in.
I respect what you just said, but in the case,
no buts.
He stepped in and is taking care of her daughter that is 4.
So
and my family and everybody that knows him respects him as a good father. So I cannot let it be said that he's not a good parent.
I didn't say he wasn't a good parent. I said they weren't mature enough to co-parent.
I recognize that, but I do want it to be on record that he is.
No, I didn't say he wasn't a good parent, and there is a path to him being able to parent his child. I told you what it is. But what I'm saying to you is you and his mama can't live his life for him. And as long as y'all are doing for him, then he won't be able to do for himself.
Thank you for that, Your Honor.
I'm just saying, you recognize what I'm saying. When you left your parents' house, how old were you?
18.
And did they say you never went back, did you?
Never went back.
Okay. This man is 25, and I'm gonna tell you what my grandmother said. My grandmother raised 13 children, and you know what she said? She said, I have never had to stand bond for any of them. But you know what she also said? If you do something, don't call me. Right. I raised you to be responsible. I raised you to do the things that you should know how to do. And so of her 13 children, none of them had to stand in a courtroom or call come get them or call my grandfather to come get them because I've raised you. So now you're on your own to be responsible the way I taught you to be. And we have gotten so far away from that. We got kids now telling their parents off, taking their parents' vehicles, hitting and interacting with their parents in such negative ways. But at a minimum, we're not raising children to be responsible. At 18, your parents said, that's it. And you went out and you made your way. And you look reasonably successful. Now, I don't know you, but you don't look like you're struggling. And what I'm telling you is until you let somebody get out there and do what they need to do, and you looking at me in this role, but I'm gonna tell you right now, when I went to college, my parents was like, okay, you made it into college. All those student loans, I had to pay. When I went to law school, I had to pay. I was working 2 jobs in college and going to school, 2 jobs and going to school. There have been other times in my life when I worked 2 jobs and gone to school. So what I'm saying to you is he can do if y'all step out of the way and make him do it. But don't keep coddling him and we gonna facilitate seeing the baby and we gonna make sure because y'all can't co-parent because y'all fighting each other that we gonna make it easy to go back and forth. Go to court. He can go to court, set up a visitation schedule and get a superior court judge to determine how this is gonna happen. But in all things, he's going to be a parent for the rest of his life. So if he can't get it right now at the beginning, when it's easy, it's not going to get any easier. It's not.
And with all due respect, Your Honor, I don't condone. I didn't help you get into a mess. I can't help you get out, but I do support helping you through it. That's the way I look at it with my kids and my grandkids.
I got you. But what I'm saying to you is remember how you made it. And people think it's harsh. But when your parents said, you 18 now, you on your own, you might have struggled. But right now, if you face with any situation in your life, you're going to figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Because you've had that experience. We don't let our kids struggle. So when they get out there, the first thing they're going to do is turn back to mama. Well, what am I going to do now? Well, if you struggled when you first got out there and made your way and realized you got to work, you got to pay bills, you got to find a place to stay, you got to maintain a place to stay. When you do those things, it makes you responsible and able to handle whatever challenge comes your way. But as long as the parents are stepping in and keeping these 20-something, I even give a little grace for the 20s, but the 30s, the 40s, I got parents who carrying these people on their back and they're coming in and raising discord in their households. We have got to stop coddling these young men. He went out there, he had a baby. So if he's chosen to give up his 20s and his carefree lifestyle to be a parent, then he's got to do what it takes to do it right. And if that means going to court and legitimizing his child, getting the money up to do what he needs to do, then he needs to do that. But nobody's telling him to go out here and just have babies without thinking about the consequences of what that means.
So is the birth certificate not legitimate?
No, ma'am. I can't tell you because I don't do that kind of law. But what I can tell you is generally, no. You don't sign in the birth certificate does not legitimize a child. It may be biologically acknowledged as his child, but Under the law, no, not until they were married at the time of the child's birth or within a certain period of time after the child's birth, or they go through the legitimation process in the superior court where the child resides.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, and I understand you and mama want to help him and y'all want to see the baby. Y'all might have to take some time, but y'all can't contact this woman on his behalf.
So we missed Christmas. I still have her stuff.
Okay, the baby will get it. The baby don't know it's Christmas. It's 2 year old. She'll get it when she gets it.
Thank you.
All right.
On October 17th, the court ordered a PSI and TAP evaluation. According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 6 years in the prison. The state is opposing your application, and they took several cases into consideration. All right, are both parties ready to proceed? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any objections?
No objection, Your Honor. No objection.
All right, state, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor.
Defense, any witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls Mike Hernandez.
All right, Mr. Hernandez is appearing by Zoom. Any objections from the state?
No objection, Your Honor.
Any objections from you, Mr. Castro?
No, Your Honor.
And defense, it's your witness. I'm assuming you have no objection.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, if you could unmute yourself, please.
Say it again.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me?
Oh.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record, please.
Mike G. Hernandez.
All right, defense.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for being here. I know you're working. Can you tell the court how you know Matthew Castro?
He worked for me about 2 years. He worked for me about 2 years, 2015, 2017.
And what does he do for you?
He started as a helper at the shop, and then he moved up to a welder's helper.
And what does that exactly do? What were his tasks?
He helps a welder with anything that we're doing, giving him grinders, picking up welds, setting stuff straight for him as the welder's going.
And we spoke during the bond hearing. Is he coming back to work for you?
Yes, I'd like to get him back. He was doing real good before he left. He started having some problems at home, so we had to let him go. But I want to reinvest what I had going with him and get him going again, get him back to speed where we're at.
And I'm sure you know, but when I talked to Mr. Castro and asked him if he was ready to go back to work, he just lit up. Can you tell the court what kind of worker he is?
He was on point in time, always ready to go. He always helped us out. And we actually, when he left, it was hard to replace him. So I really would need him back.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Pass witness, Judge.
All right, state.
Hi, Mr. Hernandez. My name is Hank Wilkins. I'm one of the prosecutors here. If I ask anything that you don't understand, just let me know and I can try and rephrase it, okay?
Yes.
So, can you give us the years that Mr. Castro, when did he work for you?
What years?
Yes, sir.
It was between 2015 and 2017.
And why did he stop working for you in 2017?
He started having problems at home, and I told him I couldn't. I needed somebody who I could, who could be more. I didn't want him dealing with phone calls and all that, because we're always working, we're always busy, and I needed full attention at work because it's very dangerous, some of the stuff that we do, and I needed him to be on more focused on what he was doing. He couldn't do it at the time, so I just had to let him go at that time.
Okay. And was that the stuff that was going on at home? Is that in his personal life, or was that court stuff?
I think it was just personal life. I didn't get too involved. I just know it was affecting my work.
Okay. And do you know anything about the cases that he's being sentenced on today?
Not too much. I just I haven't heard too much about it. I just know that he was waiting to come back to work if it was possible, and I told him I could use him.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions, Judge.
Just briefly, Judge.
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez, you said problems at home, it was affecting the work, and you mentioned phone calls. Was that his wife calling the work, or what was that?
Yes, his wife kept on bothering him, and with us, it's very dangerous. Some of the stuff that we working with the tools are high power stuff, and you got to be on paying attention the whole time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Hernandez.
All right, any other questions of this witness?
No further questions.
All right, is the witness excused?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much for showing up, Mr. Hernandez.
No problem. Thank you.
Any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. Defense calls Laura Rivera.
All right. All right, can you raise your right hand for me?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Laura Rivera.
Defense.
Ms. Rivera, can you tell the court what your relationship with Matthew is?
His mother.
And can you tell the court, growing up, what kind of child was he?
Real good. He my mom and dad helped me raise him. He always followed my dad and mom was around. Barbecue, fishing, we did everything. He would always help out, like when they were doing mechanic stuff in the vehicles, he would help out. He always wanted to help out.
And
They called him handyman.
handyman?
He was little and they called him a little man. Yeah.
And how is he in school?
He was really good. He wasn't gifted and talented. I know you hadn't heard that. What is it called today?
That's like AP.
Yeah, like yeah, it's really advanced in his education.
And then after high school, can you tell the court what was going on with Matthew?
Well, during school, his older brother, my other son, had been shot in a drive-by, and I was in the hospital with him for a little over a year. But my son was fighting for his life for like 3-4 months, so he started taking it hard and kind of started. And then I was always with my son, like 24/7. So him and my she's 23 now, and my 16-year-old were kind of raised with my mom because I was focusing on my son. So he started messing up a little when I tried to, get him back. He started doing good. I took him to counseling and started taking classes. He had gotten through juvenile. But he's doing good. He was doing good. And then he got married and I saw him changing. It's like, it took a big toll on him. It was really, 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 really toxic, like really bad.
And you say changing, what do you mean?
Changing, like he wasn't himself anymore. He wasn't outgoing anymore. I would call him and he wouldn't answer. And he was a type that would always, he would call me or he would visit us. And at first she would come with her, but when she got her kids back, everything started changing. I think she started getting stressed out with that she had her 4 kids back and started taking it on him.
And how was Matthew with the children?
Really good. They love him. As a matter of fact, after the apparent assault that he did, she said she sent them the documents that she wanted him to be their father legally.
To legally adopt
Yes.
them?
Yes,
Okay.
but he had a good relationship with them.
And then you've mentioned your family. What kind of support system does Matthew have at home?
Oh, really good. He has his little sister that really looks up to him. Me and my husband.
And how does he help his sister?
Oh, with homework. Yes. Anytime she would get stuck, he would help her. He's really smart.
And then who is Elvia Saucedo?
My mom.
Okay. That's his grandma.
Mhm.
And then who is
She helped me raise him.
Mr. and Mrs. Joe Gonzalez?
Our neighbors.
Okay. And did you get them to create affidavits for Matthew?
Yes, I did.
Your Honor,
Just a quick little.
at this time, defense asks or offers defense 1 and defense 2.
No objection.
Okay, any other questions?
Just briefly. And since Matthew's been home after he got out on bond, what changes have you seen in him?
Outgoing again, helping out, loves to eat, watch movies together. He's just outgoing again. He's himself again.
Back to his old self?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
can you tell the court why Matthew would be a good candidate for probation?
I feel like he's ready to move forward from his marriage and just have a life, normal life, not arguing and fighting. And he doesn't have any kids or anything, so he still has a chance to work and just be a better person.
And he would live with you?
With me, yes. And then we are going to be moving to a new home soon too, so we're going to get out of the area. Yes,
Thank you.
I need him.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you.
State.
Hi, Mr. Rivera. My name is Hank Wilkins. I'm one of the prosecutors here. So you've known Mr. Castro his whole life?
Of course.
Okay. So you were in contact with him when he got sentenced in 2016 to possession of less than a gram, right? He got
Right.
probation in that case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. And he wasn't successful on that, was he?
No, he was,
And so he got sentenced at that point to 6 months, right?
yes.
And you were in contact with him in 2017 when he got sentenced on burglary of a vehicle, third, right? You got 10 months there, right? Okay. And you were in contact with him back in 2014 when he got sentenced on burglary of a vehicle, 4 months and 6 days, right?
Yes.
Okay. And back in 2015, you were in contact with him when he got a year probation on burglary of a vehicle, second or more, right?
Yes.
Do you know if he was successful on that probation? No, it's not good.
Sorry, I can't remember. I don't remember. I'm sorry.
Okay. Step back. That's fine.
I'm too far.
So he wasn't successful on that, right? Or you don't remember? Okay. But would you be?
Okay, I don't remember. I'm sorry.
I'll stand over here so you can. So, would it be surprising you to know that he wasn't successful on that probation?
No, because he was younger.
Okay.
He was younger.
So he got 4 months. You got a 4-month sentence on that. And you were in contact with him in June of 2022 when you got an obstructing a highway intoxication.
Well, yes and no, because he's married, so he hasn't lived with me for a couple of years.
Okay.
8 years.
He got 12 months there, right? He got 12 months probation there. Or he got the first one.
I know he got probation,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So can you tell the court what's going to be different about this time?
This time, I think he's older. He has a better head on his shoulders now. He was incarcerated for 5 months this time, and I feel like he learned a lot. My mom had a heart attack like 2 years ago. And if
Sorry, just 1 second. Excuse me. There's no talking in the box to each other. Separate. All right, we're back on the record. You can continue.
So my mom had a heart attack about 2 years ago. She had major surgery a couple of months ago, and he's scared. He doesn't want something to happen to her, and he's not there. She helped me raise him, so she's like a mom to him. I feel like that's going to help him also not want to be incarcerated anymore. So I don't think he's going to do anything to go back.
What year did she have a heart attack?
2 years ago, it was 2021.
And so you're aware he's got several charges that we're here for today, right?
Yes.
And I know you haven't looked at this, but they did a report to help the judge decide. He says he doesn't have substance abuse issues in this. Do you agree with that?
I agree.
I pass the witness, Judge.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next witness.
Your Honor, no more witnesses, but if you would allow, the defendant would like to address the court.
All right, I mean, he can address the court as a witness.
Yeah.
All right, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Matthew Castro.
All right, defense, any questions or no?
No, Your Honor.
State any questions?
Sure, yeah. So Matthew, my name is Hank Wilkins. I'm one of the prosecutors here. We've seen each other before, but I've never introduced myself. So if I ask you anything that's confusing or you're not quite sure what I'm asking you, just let me know and I can rephrase it, okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you asked, or you asked, you were here when I was talking to you a moment ago. And I went through some of the things that you've been in court for before, right?
Yes, sir.
And it looks like you've gotten opportunities on deferred adjudication, right?
Sure.
You've gotten opportunities on probation, right?
Sure.
And you're not always successful in that. Is that right?
I was
Do what? I'm sorry.
I was successful.
You were not before.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you tell the court why you think this time is going to be different?
I believe that during that time, I was younger. I was going through it because of my marriage. There's no excuse for my actions, but just being in the state of mind that I was, I felt betrayed. I felt worthless. And I guess I wasn't thinking straight. I was younger. I was less mature. And at the time, prison wasn't like on the line, you know? So I was really just being a knockoff. But at this time, now that I know I'm facing prison, I had nothing but time to think while I was in jail. And I was thinking about my grandma, my mom, my sisters, everybody. This time will be different because it's my last chance. I'm facing prison right now, and I don't want to go. Honestly, in my heart, I know I'm not a bad person. I don't wake up every day thinking, who am I going to rob or kill or shoot today? I'm not somebody that's dangerous to the community. And my whole neighborhood loves me. They're all older people, and since I was little, I've always helped them. And I really believe it. Like, if you give me one more chance, I'll succeed. And if I don't, I'm not gonna run. I'll turn myself in, and y'all could do what y'all will. I mean,
So, you said you're not a danger to the community, but
No.
do you think that some of these charges that you're charged with might make people have the idea that you're a danger to the community?
maybe in some light, yes.
So you're a felon, and one of these charges is felon in possession of a firearm. That sounds dangerous, right?
Yes, sir.
And a couple of these are burglaries. That sounds dangerous, right?
Sure.
What year did you get married?
In 2019, March 15th, 2019.
Okay. So I know that there was some testimony that some of this might be tied, some of your criminal actions might be tied to your marriage, but
But I was with her way before that.
way before that, okay. Because, you know, if you got married in 2019, but some of these charges are from before that, like how long were you all together?
About 7, 8 years.
And are you taking responsibility for your actions, or are you blaming your ex?
No, I'm taking responsibility. I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to justify my actions, but at the current state of mind that I was compared to now, I feel like I'll be a lot more successful because now there's no more. That's it. Like I'm saying, now I'm facing prison, and I don't want that. I don't want to go and something happens to my grandma. Like I said, sir, if you give me one more chance, please, and if I mess up, which I know I won't, I feel real confident this time. Y'all could give me the max if you want. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I'm gonna do good. I have a job lined up. And my plan is to pay all. If I can pay restitution to the victims of my crimes, I am. I'll do whatever needs to be done to show that I'll be successful at this, and to show that I have a heart and that I'm not just somebody that wakes up every day thinking, how am I gonna f up the world? You know what I mean?
So did Mr. Lyles go over this with you? This is the pre-sentencing. They do a report for the judge to help her make a decision. Did he talk to you about this at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that was in here was you don't think you have a substance abuse problem. Is that still something the same that you believe that's still?
Yeah. I'm not. This wasn't all because of judge, it was because of what else I did.
Okay. I passed the witness, Judge. Thank you.
Just briefly, Matthew, is there anything else you want to say to the judge or to the victim?
To victims, I'm sorry for what I've done. And if I could meet you in person and tell you sorry in person, I will, and I'll pay the restitution. I'll show you that I was immature before. I was letting a situation get the best of me. And now that I'm facing the prison, that's enough. I'm not gonna mess up no more. I'm not. It's like it's no more slaps on the hand, basically. And I had to be there with my grandma too. I just talked to her the other day. She's already old. She already had the heart attack. And I don't want to be incarcerated. That's my second month. You know, and I'll do whatever the court needs me to do, what they want me to do, community service, everything. I'll do it to show that I'll be successful. And Your Honor, if I fail to do so, which I'm confident that I will not fail, I'll come back, surrender myself, and face you again, and you can do what you will with me.
No further questions, Judge.
All right, any other questions?
No questions, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Why did you commit this crime?
Why did I commit this crime?
Mhm.
At the time, I was going through it with my wife. She kept all my belongings, left me with literally nothing. And I was just,
So why didn't you go to her house?
excuse me?
I said, did you go to her house and take your stuff back?
No, she don't get to me.
All right, so instead you went to a stranger's house that you don't know, and you went in to take their stuff.
It was a RV, man.
All right, so, and it's a stranger's RV,
Yes, ma'am.
which what we were taught in law school, anything really can be a habitation, right? If you're living in it, a car can be a habitation.
Yes, sir.
So an RV is a habitation. So why are you taking their stuff? Because your girlfriend took your stuff and wouldn't return it.
I was just thinking of I needed something, some kind of money, some way real fast. I was just being immature about it. Then
Why didn't you call your mom?
when I called my mom,
Mhm.
because I didn't want her to get her involved with me and my wife's problems. Because my wife was raised to the point where she ran my vehicles and she tried to keep like the keys away from my mom from her vehicle one time. Because I let them there. There was already a lot of drama going on with her and my family.
So why didn't you? Yes. So why didn't you call your grandmother?
I don't want to put her through the stress as well.
All right, so you decided to put a stranger through this stress of having their items stolen.
It's my other horrible mistake, and like I
Nope. You made choices, not mistakes. You know what a mistake is?
something by accident.
No. Let me just tell you. It's raining outside. Here's the example, Diana. weather forecast. I don't think anybody really anticipated it was going to rain today. But let's say you know it's going to rain today. Your mom tells you, your grandmother tells you, and so you come to court with an umbrella because you know it's going to rain today. People are coming in wet. You have your umbrella, you go outside and you're like, good thing my parent called me to say it was going to rain because I'm prepared. Now, let's say you don't know it's going to rain. You come to court and you see people coming in wet and you say, shucks, I don't have my umbrella. There's somebody sitting next to you who has an umbrella and you take it. That's a choice. Now, if you know it's raining and you bring your umbrella and you have a black umbrella and the person sitting next to you also has a black umbrella and you leave and you take an umbrella, and when you go outside and it's raining and you open up the umbrella and you realize this is not my black umbrella because I have initials on mine and it's not here, that's a mistake. So you going into that person's RV and taking their items, those were choices you made. That's not a mistake. You didn't mistakenly think, oh, this RV is the same color as mine. I'm a little bit intoxicated right now. And I know I always leave the door open and this RV's door is open. Let me go in there. You knew that wasn't your RV. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So you made a choice. So I'm trying to figure out, why did you choose to break into somebody's RV and take their items? And this whole thing about I'm going through things with my wife, that's not going to cut it. Because everybody here has had a bad problem, I'm sure, where they've gone through a bad relationship. That doesn't mean they go out and commit crimes and then want to pass because I was in a bad relationship. So why did you go and take their items?
Sure, I needed some money.
Money for what?
Clothes.
Well, you could have called your mom and your grandmother and asked for clothes. You telling me your mom wouldn't have given you clothing?
Still would have if I would have told her. This
Okay.
situation. Yes, ma'am.
So I still don't understand. So why are you breaking into somebody's RV?
Check their belongings to sell to get money
Money for what?
for some clothes and anything I needed that day.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No, Your Honor.
And I read in the PSI report, he said he didn't think he would get charged. So I'm assuming he didn't think he would get caught.
Yes, ma'am. At the time, my immature thinking.
I'm sorry, what?
At the time, yes, I was being immature about my choices.
And you say you were being immature. How old are you?
28, ma'am.
All right. And this occurred. Let me pull up the date. What's the offense date on this?
March 8th, 2023.
All right. So anything else from either side?
Nothing from defense, Judge.
Nothing further.
All right. I'm not going to grant his application. I'm going to find him guilty. Does anyone wish to speak to the cap?
Yes, Your Honor. And Your Honor, and I appreciate the court's patience. Any delay in this case has been absolutely my fault and not Mr. Castro's.
Oh, I don't hold delays against anyone.
I'm not just saying, Judge.
Mhm.
So Mr. Castro, he actually pled on the first day that he received an offer. Since the time I met him, he's taken responsibility for this. I know he's made bad decisions before and he has a history, but he wants to change his life. He has a welding job set up and he's ready to get back to where he can contribute to society. And if this means that he has to do some time, he's willing to accept that. We would ask just for the 2 years, because whenever he does get out, Judge, I know he's going to be able to go get a job and be a contributing citizen. He has removed him. I can attest he's removed himself from a bad situation. You heard Mr. Vera testify how he's changed. I could even see that. I've never seen a client, when I mentioned working, when he was getting out on bond, how them light up and how excited they were. He's the only client I've ever seen that happen with. So Judge, we just ask that you give the minimum 2 years, let him do his time and be able to get out and contribute to society.
All right. And in the PSI report, I see that restitution for Mr. McDermott, DERMAIN, that was never given. The only restitution amount I see is for Richard Pacheco. And that's for the expense of the tow truck and fixing his truck. Is there going to be any objection
Nothing from defense, Judge.
to the $800?
Your Honor, I think we've tried to reach out to Mr. McDermott and haven't been able to get a response as to about restitution, Judge.
All right, and state with regards to sentence?
Judge, it's a cap of 6 years is what we agreed to. We're asking for the 6 years. As I talked about with some of the witnesses, these are inherently scary crimes. I don't know if there's a better way to put that, but breaking into where somebody lives, that's a scary thing. The reason that we have laws against felons walking around with handguns is because it's a scary thing. It's inherently a dangerous crime, Judge. These are not victimless crimes that the defendant's accused of. So we are asking for 6 years, Judge. And these are, like the court talked about with the defendant, these are not mistakes. These are choices the defendant made. So that we're asking for the 6 years, Judge.
All right. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. I'll take into consideration 2023 CR 8110. There's to be restitution of $800 to Richard Pacheco. Court is going to sentence you to 5 years in the prison and give you credit for any time served.
And Judge, we would ask the court if Mr. Castro could have some time to get his affairs in order and then turn himself in. He's been on bond and hasn't had any issues.
No. I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it? Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, we can go off the record. Mr. Castro, I want to let you know I did review everything and take in consideration your employment and that you're saying that you've changed. When you go to prison, do not become institutionalized. At the prison, you can still pick up different trades. You can actually get a college degree at the prison and it's free. So you can work on that. And then when you get out, I'm sure Mr. Hernandez, if he was willing to take this risk with you working for him, I'm sure he will do it again. When you get out, stay on the track to become a welder. You understand? All right. Good luck to you.
All right. How old are you, sir?
I'm 25.
Okay. All right. Did you want to hear what the state is asking the court to do?
Yes, ma'am, please.
All right. Ms. Janvier?
Yes, Your Honor, 12 months to serve 1 day. Credit for the time he's already served. The balance to be probated. A $300 fine. Anger management. No contact with the victim. And do not return to the locations.
All right. So, Mr. Dangerfield, the recommended sentence in this case from the state would be 12 months to serve 1 day. You would receive credit for any time that you already served. The balance will be probated for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300. That would be $444 with the surcharges. You take an anger management class through probation, and you'd have no contact with the alleged victim in this case, and you would not go back to the location of the incident. Do you understand?
Yes. May I ask a question as well?
Sure.
What was my second thing as well? I heard everything else.
Who is the victim? Your second what, sir?
You said that I'd have to do a fine. Oh yes, that was my question. So if I had served a day,
all
you
right,
said that would count.
You'll get credit for that, yes.
Okay.
So it'll be probation to pay a fine and then take an anger management class. Okay.
With the fine, is there a way that I could do it where I'm not on probation? I could pay it within that 60-day window gap that you're providing?
No, because you have to do the anger management class, and that has to be done through probation.
Okay, and that and you guys would send me like information on how I would get into that class.
So before you leave here today, you would be in a breakout room where you would have a private chat with Mr. Devin Carmichael, who's our intake specialist. Mr. Carmichael would sign you up and provide you with the information necessary to get started in probation.
Oh, okay. All right, then. Will I have to show up again on the 10th as well?
Not if you do this.
Okay.
Will your license, will his driver's license be messed up?
Okay, ma'am. Who are you?
That's my mom. She
Okay, hold on. Ma'am, he's 25.
Sorry.
If he can't handle his own business at 20, this is the whole thing I keep preaching about. These mamas out here infantilizing these children, these sons, and making them just no good. If she was Mr. Dangerfield, I got this. If he ain't responsible enough to handle what he need to handle at 25 years old, then I don't know what you're gonna do at this point.
Oh,
now,
yes, ma'am. But I was just wondering who was bringing the charges. I was wondering who did he assault? Who was the battery against? Because it's the state against him. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Before you come on my calendar popping off, you may have needed to have a conversation with him about that before you got here. But I don't talk to mamas when I'm dealing with grown people.
Oh.
Mr. Carr, I'm not on you yet. Now, Mr. Dangerfield, you grown. You handling your own business. I don't talk to people's mamas unless I'm dealing with somebody with a mental health issue, a cognitive difficulty, or somebody under the age of 18. Are you any of those things? I can't hear you. You got your thing. Unmute. Unmute.
I said, no, ma'am, we meant nothing by that. We understood everything.
Well, Mr. Dangerfield, I'm getting a little fed up because here's the thing. We got a whole generation of men who can't handle their own business because their mama's stepping in.
No. My mom, she has a JD. She was sending in my motion to dismiss.
Well, then if she got a JD, she should have put it in if she's got a JD and didn't pass the bar, she's still not an attorney. If she's an attorney, then she should have entered an appearance. But her just popping off at me without speaking to you, you should know who you assaulted. I don't know.
I didn't even know because it wasn't even an assault thing. Him and I had gotten to a verbal altercation.
Okay, well, that might be what this is about. It's simple battery. That can be based on a verbal issue.
Yes, ma'am. But no, as far as my mom, speaking on behalf, I know I could have spoke by myself. I handle my business.
But just please, ma'am, if you have a JD, if you ever get your bar and you stand before a judge, a little respect goes a long way. Don't pop off on somebody. You do your research first, because you could have gotten that information from the clerk's office before you came on here asking me in that tone what was going on. He's grown. I don't talk to mamas for grown people.
Yes, ma'am, we understand. Yes, ma'am, we understand.
All right, now, Mr. Dangerfield, back to you. So, ma'am, sir, did you wish to, like I said, you've already served the 1 day and you'll get credit for that. The balance would be probated for payment of the fine and the anger management course. And so you get an anger management course based on the information that you would get from probation that would direct you as to what the court will accept. Once you take the anger management course and pay the fines and fees, then everything else, that would be you would have done all of the conditions of probation. But the only thing remaining would be that you not go back to the location and that you not have contact with that particular person. Now, let's talk about, do you need the state to tell you who it was and where it was?
No, I know where it was. I was driving trucks for Dollar General at the time, and I don't work there anymore. I just left after that because there was no point in staying there.
Okay.
But
is this something that you wish to consider?
No, ma'am. I really would like to go for it with my motion to dismiss, if that was an option.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll be on the calendar on January 10th at 10 a.m. I mean at 2 p.m. I'm sorry. So you'll be in court January 10th, 2 p.m. Now, here's the thing. If you plan on representing yourself, I cannot treat you any differently than I would treat the other side. While it is a motions hearing and it's a little bit more relaxed than a trial, there are still rules that apply. And I'm going to explain it to you as much as I can, but I can't help you. You understand?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
All right, and that includes being able to get evidence into the record of the court. So that's the reason why being an attorney is so helpful, because you know those rules of procedure and those rules of evidence. But otherwise, you'll have to represent yourself. And if your mother is not a member of the Georgia bar, she can't represent you or sit with you at table.
Okay, just my last question before I'm able to choose my. So with the anger management, would that be like online or anything? Because I still do currently drive trucks. So I'm
not sure what the options are. You could ask Mr. Carmichael that. I'm not aware of whether we take any. Mr. Carmichael, are we taking any online? Do we have any online options?
I believe the list that I'm going to provide for him at the end does have at least one online option, but I'll discuss that with him when we go into the breakout space.
Okay. So Mr. Carmichael says he believes there is one that you could avail yourself of.
Okay, I really appreciate you guys. I will pay my fines and go that route.
Wait a minute, we got to make sure that if you wish to enter a plea. So is he eligible for a NOLO, Miss Janvier?
Yeah, the NOLO's fine, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Janvier will allow, she's not going to object to you taking a NOLO plea, which may help you with respect to any future employment. But if you wish to do that, you could. I'll accept a NOLO plea in this case instead of a guilty.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to plead NOLO in this case.
Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
He was assaulted by another employee. The officer had the opportunity to speak with the victim, who advised that the delivery driver, the defendant, Mr. Dangerfield, wanted him to sign paperwork. However, he was the only person in the store and could not sign off. At the moment that the defendant became impatient, there was a verbal altercation where words were exchanged, and then the defendant punched him in the face and body area. The officer also spoke with the defendant, who admitted that he also punched the victim. The officer did review the video surveillance in the store. The state is recommending 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for the time served, the balance to be probated, a $300 fine, anger management, no contact with the victim, Mr. Robert Holiday, and do not return to the Dollar General in Riverdale, Georgia.
Right. All right. So, Mr. Dangerfield, I'm going to accept your plea of NOLO. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 1 day, credit for time served, balance probated, for you to pay a fine in the amount of $300